Welcome back then to GWK Park here in Kimberley, and Zena Isaacs is downstairs with the coach.
Yeah, we made a bit of mistakes, but we are delighted. We are sort of in control of the loose phases. So that's a positive. Our defense is actually not up to the standard that we want it to be. Scrums we're doing well, so yeah, we're quite delighted now.
The lineouts were a bit of a shambles early on.
Yeah, we're struggling in that area a bit. Last week the same thing, but it's much better now than it was last week. So yeah, we are looking at that area to improve. So yeah, it is a bit of a problem for us at this moment.
Good to get that last try before half-time though.
It's always good to get a try before half-time. So yeah, very delighted about that.
Thank you, Gowan.
Right, thanks, hey.
Thanks, coach.
So a little bit of enough confidence there from Gerwin Alexander, the coach, one of the coaches of the griekwas team. John T. Gray with a kickoff, hanging, and I bet that's into the sun as well for the Griffons players. Griekwas looking to really cement a good start to the second half. Also seen a lot of Jonathan Africa, along with his fellow loose forwards Werner Badenhorst and Leon Badenhorst. Now can they play it wide? Carried through there by Darren Koopman. And the little pass inside, brilliant play that eventually, and it is Griekwas who managed to get over, using the width of the field.
Sean,
Yes, Peter.
can you please look at that pass if it
The last
probably
pass.
was forward? Yes, please.
Okay.
It's the extended use of the TMO. Sean Feltzman usually just looking at what happens in goal. Today and for now, they can look at what happens before they get over that try line to make sure that the correct decision is made. Increased pressure, increased responsibility coming onto the TMO. They're looking for the forward pass. It's going to come a little bit later. Hendrik Moornbach does very, very well here. Gets on the outside, throws this ball inside. And remember, it's the direction that the ball leaves the hands. It's as the player passes, not where the ball ends up, that Sean Feltzman will be looking at.
Peter, Sean,
Yes, Sean.
geen vorentoe aangee nie, jy mag die 3 toe ken.
Okay, Sean.
Yeah, but it's a good point that Bros as well. You know, a lot of people sometimes wonder where a pass actually looks forward, but it isn't, and vice versa. And as you say, the direction as it leaves the hands, crucial.
But it was fantastic. The defense for the Griffons here, far too compressed. They were very tight, they were very narrow. You knew there was lots of space on the outside, and Moornbach did a very good job to exploit it and get the pass inside. And I think it was fantastic hands from Koopman to get the ball. He gives himself a round of applause. I tell you, I was giving him a round of applause here in the commentary box. Great work.
You know, terrific work from Moornbach. And the conversion, unfortunately, not over, but it is the Griekwas with a really good start to the second half.
Well, it's decisive,
11.
isn't it? A try, 1 minute either
Yes,
side of the halftime hooter. Here, too compressed. They start so well. They start with so much confidence to the Griekwas. They carried the ball. Moornbach's almost got a smile on his face. Passes it in field, knows he's in space, knows he's got his winger there, and he scores a good try.
I just love seeing a pass like that. Moornbach, timeously and accurate as well, getting it back in field. So Griekwas securing the ball rather well. Tiaan Roux does a little swivel kick. This is Dirk Grobbelaar. Takes a few players to bring him down.
6!
Noortman onto Renaud Venter. Passing not that great onto Colin Herbert. But they've created enough space on the outside. Well, they haven't. Foot in touch.
Well done, boys. Well done. Well done.
It's just the accuracy of the passing game that's letting the Griffons under 21 team down. A lot of those passes are being collected behind the head. They need to be in front of the player. And then desperate defense comes in and they manage to work him straight into touch.
13, 2, 7, 4, 8, 2.
Noortman up for it, but unable to secure. I think there might have been a knock on there. Says the referee, yep.
Leave it. Kom je ook uit?
Relax.
Okay.
Patience, boys.
Well, it's been a very even-tempered match to date.
No. Right, knock
The
on.
referee not wanting that to be impaired. But it'll be a scrum to the Griffons.
Ruben, blijf my right kant.
And Vin Crawford's come on in the hooking position for the Griffons.
Okay.
Their try scorer and captain Mario Notwan to feed for the Griffons under-21 team. Interestingly enough, number 8, Dirk Robbelaar binding in on that channel 1 position at the base or the back of that scrum.
Dankie.
Usually it indicates channel 1 ball is going to be hooked.
Yep, and also maybe just to help protect the areas around there, so Notman's not under too much pressure.
He's moved into the standard position, the number 8.
Easy ball for Notman. Venter, the long pass to Herbert. Again, the pass is a little bit too high there, just slowing the players down momentarily. And as a result, they get squeezed out into touch.
It's a real problem for the Griffons, and it's undoing their attack. They can't launch, it's static, it's not dynamic, and it's because their passing game is not accurate, it's not in front of the players aren't running on to the ball. Big Chris van der Linde, 130 kgs, under 21 player, coming onto the field.
We've got Wim Crawford there, finding a little bit of space. Also, David Kesselman's on for the Griquas as well, as you might have noticed. It's P.W. Botha carrying it in. Notman's got Venter standing quite deep. A little bit of direction, change of direction sought there by Wynand Venter. And that's better ball, that's quicker ball as well from the
Strong.
ruck situation. Herbert's done well, brushed off the first tackle, and now they have a penalty. So that's much better play that from the Griffons in the last couple of minutes.
Play. Stefan, ons 10.
Very quick to take that as well. They don't want to kick a goal, they really do want to score tries if they can. At the moment they're in that position, but yeah, they come. Well, one man who's going to score is Kleinveld, who said, hang on, it's my turn now. He came belting down the middle.
10. 10. Ons moet 10 gaan met die strafskop asseblief hoor.
Just reward that for the Griffons.
Yeah, he's been a hard worker in that first half, Luan Kleinveld. He's tried to compete for the ball on the ground. He's tackled, and it's the speed of the play of the ball here for the Griffons. The good thing here, and then there's a lazy fold on defense from the Griffons. They don't fold, they don't field up, they take their positions, and Kleinveld spots it straight away. And the important thing is he runs towards the space. He's not running towards the player. He looks for the space, he exploits it, and he gets the try.
Stop. Na die skop. Okay.
So they're just waiting for the kicking tee. And Renaud Venter pretty much from right in front. No problem for Venter. So the Griffons lead in the second half by 7 points to 5.
Kleinveld, they're all too compressed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Standing within about a 1.5 meter radius distance from the ruck. Too compressed. He finds the space. He gets it. Well done, Luan Kleinveld.
Oh, it's good to see somebody running into space. So importantly, Griquas is Zandre Swats with a kickoff.
Let's go right, relax. Knock on my green. Football ball.
Yeah, they're fortunate to get the feed at this scrum, the Griffons under 21s. It's almost like a set play, that kickoff. You've got to be secure, you've got to be authoritative and call for that ball.
Couch.
John G. Gray back into his fly-half position. He was just getting some attention from the medical personnel.
Put it in.
Notman looking for a steady scrum, but really not quite getting it. It's a good left shoulder that from Griquas.
Taken back.
Venter.
Stop 16. Okay.
That's a brilliant kick downfield. That's really gone some distance, but was that carried back into the 22?
If it went directly, it's got to come back, but obviously it didn't. He used the wind, which is at his back. Renaud Venter. Wow, millimetres in it, game of inches.
Brilliant kick that. Absolutely brilliant kick. No. So the Griffons with some territorial domination once again. Their key factor is to convert it into points. When they're down there, they've got to try and get points. Trail by 11 at the moment. And finding a little bit of space here from the right wing. It's Milani who's come across. David Kesselman with a pass. So some good energy from both teams at the moment. And as a result, we've already had 2 tries in the second half. Strong tackle on Herbert. This is Kesselman. Oh, has it been? No. Well, Griffons turned it over, but illegally so. Hands in the ruck. So the Griffons again, there's a lot of excited men there, want to quickly take a tap kick and start running. They need to have a look at that scoreboard now, Warren, and work it out.
And there's lots of time left in this game. Just start chipping away at that lead. Their attack was much, much better from the Griffons. We've highlighted the poor passing. The attack that they had now, they were passing in front of the player. Players were running on. It might have been a little bit lateral, but it was far better, and they got over the advantage line. They can launch the attack from here, 5 meters or so from the try line. They need to win this line out first.
Well, they've got 1 man down at the moment, as you can see in the bottom right of your picture. So it's only 14 of them attacking at the moment. I think it's Kajani Milani who's going off.
Turnover.
Well, yeah, penalty for Griffons at a time when they really needed it, one feels. They really just want to get their game together again. It's a really tight angle, this, unfortunately. Can they get some distance on the kick?
That's the Johnny Milani who's left the field.
Well, it's a big kick, but it hasn't gone out. This is Reno Fenta. Drop attempt from a long way out. Oh, he has an attacking opportunity. He has a 3 against 2. Oh dear. Griffons. Tell you what, John T. Gray has got out of jail a little bit there. He should have passed it a bit earlier. It was a definite 3-on-2 situation.
It's a good ball and all tackle by Dirk Krobbeler.
And we got another man down. Just fancy it might be John T. Gray himself.
No advantage. 4.
There you can see him in the back of picture there. Flat on his back.
Not for me. Time off.
John.
5. Number 5.
Yeah, looks like he's taken a knock in the rib cage. So a little bit of relief then for the players, but there they come.
Look at that.
The Cheetah Brigade. We passed a few of them on the road and their motorbikes.
Has he driven the whole way up from Bloemfontein on that motorbike?
No, it was on the back of the bucky.
Come on.
I tackle.
It really is a big match with Free State against Griffons over the years. You can see that Johan Gous is on. That's a pretty good kick, that. So back into an attacking situation are Griffons. And Helberg on for Vestraat as well. So there's a number of changes here being made by Stefan Pretorius. Now they've got the men lined up. Oh dear. Men absolutely lined up there. And a very basic error once again.
Gee, and it was well played by the Griffons as well. Like a little tap from the line out. They pull it back. All the Griffons players have gone back expecting the kick from Reno Fenta. They had numbers, they had men, they had space. They just forgot about the rugby ball.
spoke left of the mark. We spoke about it beforehand.
So, key question here. Tiaan Roux, he's been a little bit quiet in the last couple of minutes. Scrum out for Griquas.
Pause.
Can he get a good solid scrum here? Can he work this blind side? In the meanwhile, we're going to have another set piece.
Yeah, PV, but hand just goes down, the loose head for the Griffons. Brings it back up again. He's scrumming against the big, loose, tight head, Chris van der Linde, who's come off the bench in the number 17 jersey.
130 kilograms, as you said, into that number 17 jersey.
Yeah, that doesn't happen overnight.
Full penalty here for Griquas. Now, bear in mind, they've got 3 tries, 4 to get a bonus point, but lots of time. So they've decided, let's stretch that lead in the meanwhile. We feel good about getting a 4th try at some stage in the second half.
3. Yeah.
I think it's the right decision as well. You can get the 3 points, stretch that lead out. Allow this Griffin side to start playing desperate catch-up rugby. They'll make a mistake. You can pounce on it. You can go and get your bonus point. A lot of pressure coming in from the Griquas 8.
You know, without domination at the tight pieces, tight phases, the lineouts have not been great at all. Scrums have got better as the game has progressed. Griquas really starting to come into their own. Jonty Gray, 2 penalties in the first half and 1 to offer thus far in the second. Stretch lead then for Griquas.
Yeah, we always had that magical number of 15. Get 15 points ahead, then you can open that game up. Griquas still just under that 15 by 1 point.
Yeah, the 15 is important. And the mathematics behind that is that a team needs to score 3 times to get up to that score, to catch your score. That would be 7 for a goal, another 7 for a goal, and then whatever comes after that. Tiaan Roux taking it upon himself to kick that ball out. He had enough time. The Griquas forwards hadn't really charged up.
It was good pressure from Wayne Ludick, the lock forward for the Griffons to apply that pressure. There was a slight little ricochet. That's why they are feeding the lineouts of the Griquas.
Quite amazing how few tackles we've seen in this match. Just 29, I think it is, Griquas, and 22 to the Griffons. Jonty Gray's kicked straight down the middle of the field. Oh, here comes a collision. Well, luckily nobody injured in that. You just see 4 people coming from different directions, eyes in the sky.
And the one thing for all the schoolboys out there listening, if the ball's on the ground like that, getting kicked around and you're standing up trying to pick the ball up, it's not the way. You just got to dive on it. Someone's got to go off their feet, dive straight onto that ball, commit yourself, and secure the possession.
Crouch. Come on. Touch. Pull. Engage.
One of the Griquas players losing his bind. The referee keeps things going. It was Zandre Swartz last with the ball. He's one of the replacements in the second half. Both teams are quite happy to sometimes attack from quite deep behind the advantage line. The most important thing is if you're not doing that, at the breakdown point, you've got to hold on to possession, which they haven't done. And a glowing chance there. Van Fenta unable to release in good enough time, but still they come to the Griffons. Oh, there's obstruction again, was there?
Obstruction.
Yep, unfortunately, the Griffons players all a little bit in a tight huddle. It might well have been Willem Steenkamp.
You know, the Griquas, they initially had that ball, they turned over, but they got very, very narrow on attack. They turned that ball over, they gave opportunity to this Griffons side, and unfortunately, Van Venter was running with that ball in one hand, couldn't get the offload. The ball gets turned over, penalty gets conceded, the pressure comes straight back on, you're going to have a line out 10, 15 metres from your own half. This is the obstruction, players just getting in front of the ball carrier and preventing the tacklers from accessing him. Small little things make a difference in the game of rugby.
Yep, most disappointing that, but a great kick this from Jonty Gray to get Griquas into a favourable position. If they can get their line out right and drive upfield, or drive towards the touchline rather. Well, that they haven't done, unfortunately, so they've lost another line out.
It makes it number 8.
Yep.
8th line out that they have lost. Call it 7.
Well, plus the 3 from the Griffons, so it hasn't been a day for lineouts. And yes, we do want to blame the wind. I suppose it's not only that. Young players learning their trade and understanding that's a northwesterly wind, which is fairly strong downfield. Rono Fenter's kick once again is allowed to bounce. Now, what can they conjure up from here, Griquas? That's the important thing, is to get that ball moving. Chip and chase. And that's that Herbert that's done really well just to, in fact, not Herbert, it's Johan Gous, who's done a pretty good job there with recovering, as well as Crawford. This is Nootman. Venter. Was that a cross kick? Oh dear. Tell you what, we're doing quite interesting. And a little sporting lowlight just after that.
If David Kasselman had picked that up, the kick from Rhino Venter, I don't think it was intentional. It almost looked like it had shanked off his foot. He would have claimed it though. That's it there, the little kick comes through. He's looking for a much deeper kick. It goes off. Kasselman does a great job of chasing it. The bounce just beats him. And then there's a bit of off the ball action as well.
It's called a bus into a brick wall.
Yeah. And usually the brick wall can win.
JP Neertling on for SP Vessels. Change is really being rung by both sets of coaches. Of course, many of those changes have been to the men who are packing down at the moment.
Ball's out.
Ball's out, says the referee. The players looked at him just to get a little nod there as to whether or not they could attack the ball. That's a great kick, that. Tiaan Roux, it's come down beautifully, and well, it's a little knock on. Being the order of the day, unfortunately. Lots of basic errors from both teams.
It was a fantastic kick from Tiaan Roux from the base of the scrum. He got it pinpoint perfect, about 3-4 meters in front of the 22. Fortunately, his fly half, Jonty Gray, who managed to get underneath it before one of the Griffons players, failed to catch it.
Listen. Stand up. Before anyway, I spoke to you left of the mark. I want you left. Okay. Couch.
Mario Nootman, what can he do with this team of his? Just over 18 minutes left. Game's a little out of their grasp at the moment, the Griffons. Seems to be Griquas that are getting stronger.
Again. I want both backs to be steady, please, before the ball's going in. Left.
Lots of talk out on the pitch at the moment between both sets of packs.
Touch. Pause. Engage. Put in.
That's a great scrum, that, from Griquas. Nootman's done well, just picked it up very quickly and looked to take the men on, but he's got to get to the deck now. That ball's held up, and they're going to lose the scrum if he doesn't get down. Well, that's just what's happened.
Relax, relax, gaan. Los. Right. Go.
That is simply top-class work by the 8 from this Griquas under-21 side. They put all the pressure on the Griffons. It was a retreating scrum. It makes it very difficult for the Griffons number 8, Dirk Robbelaar, and their scrum half, Mario Nordman. And they've managed to turn this ball over, and now they can exert the pressure. All the backline players to the right of the scrum. The blind side for Griquas totally open.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Well, does Badenhorst pick up from the back of this scrum? He's done just that. He's a very strong man. Extremely difficult to bring down. It's great yardage that he's earned.
Tackle only.
Oh, it's Roux that's caught in possession. He's managed to get down to ground. And they were going forward at the ruck. Presumably that's the reason why. Peter Janssen van Vieren has given them the put-in. This is the perfect position for a scrum. Here's Harold Verster, president of the Cheetahs Rugby Union.
Closer.
Great position this. Can Roux get from his pack of forwards the ideal ball to get their 4th try and the bonus point?
Down. I want a longer bind from you, please. Longer bind, please.
He's asked for the longer blind from Chris van der Linde. Both teams were very upright at the contact zone as well, and then immediately went down to deck.
Crouch. Touch. Pull. Engage.
This time Badenhorst, his pass gets blocked there by Jaco Nordier. That was vital that for the Griffons. And the Griffons getting the penalty. Great relief for them.
Hold on. Got a flag. Let's go back. Open up. It's Ruben.
Seven purple entering the ruck without using any arms and cleaning a player off the ball.
Okay.
Okay, 7 purple.
Penalty only?
Penalty kick only.
No, fine. Thanks. 7. Right. En dan kom van die kant af. Right. Sonder geen arms. Right, by die rak. Penalty teen julle. Gaan omgedraai word. Right. Okay.
Now the penalty will be reversed here. We saw Leon Kleingeld come flying into that ruck. So reversal, and Griquas, will they just pop this over? They still need that 4th try, and it'll be in their mind. Looks like they're going to construct a tap and go.
A little bit of indecision as well.
There's the tap and go. So Griffons have given them an enormous amount of space to work in, and they've got their 4th try. Brilliant effort that. Steph Milan it is, I think, with their try number 4.
Big Stefan Milan gets in for the try. Well worked, but these Griffons players, they're on their heels. They don't want to know about it. They don't want to tackle the big guy. He's too big. He's too strong. Gets over, scores. But really, you've got to feel that one of those Griffons players had a man up, dig a shoulder in, and drive this big fella backwards. Or at least attempt to do so.
Or even stop him. Driving him back might not have been that easy, but he went right through the middle as well. Griffons seemed to just hold back quite a bit as well. They didn't really advance when that ball was tapped, so momentum was gained by Griquas.
The problem is not one of those Griquas players offered a shoulder, offered their body to try and stop that player.
No problem for Jonty Gray with a conversion. And I'll have a look at that now. 35-14.
Oh, he's a big unit, but it's very narrow on attack. So you know it's got to come narrow here. Bang, you've got to dig your shoulder in. Dirk Robbelaar got to put the shoulder in on the big Stefan Milan when he comes charging forward like that.
That's a nice kick in from Reno Venter. Enough pressure that could be put there on JP Neertlang.
Strong run.
It's amazing what a try can do for you. You just suddenly you become spring-heeled. Suddenly the opportunities come your way. And there have been few for Darren Koopman today on the left wing for Griekwas. Speed from the breakdown point as well. Excellent play that by Gray. Now the space is starting to open. He has the real chance. This man has got wheels, but he's got no space to work in. Done really well to keep it in fielded Richard Gum. Still, it's a big chase back for it, Noortman. Well, it ended up being a little bit messy, unfortunately.
Now the wind is blowing. The Cheetahs supporters are starting to come into the stadium for the big game. That's happening just after here, where the wind was very apparent last week, had a big influence on the game between Western Province and Griekwas. Will it have the same influence later on with our absa Courier Cup Premier Division game?
Blood and injury.
So Mario Noortman's down at the moment. There's the brains trust of, well, part of them anyway, of the Free State Cheetahs. See Nakadrotsky, Sucky Vessels on the far side. Long servant of Free State Rugby. Very passionate man when it comes to the Cheetahs. I think that just about does the lot, doesn't it, in terms of replacements. Pretty much everybody having a chance.
And the captain, Werner Badenhorst, has left the field, replaced by Stuart Bolitov. Badenhorst was very, very good. He ran well with the ball. He distributed a little bit of liquid refreshment going in onto the stands.
This is not an ideal scrum, this, for Noortman. He's just come off an injury. He's under all sorts of pressure. But it's Griekwas who've transgressed.
6, get out.
Leon Badenhorst penalised.
Number 6 flankers and number 7 flankers got to keep your head down in that situation. Keep yourself low to the ground. Because the scrum, they managed to wheel it around to the left-hand side. They had the front foot, did the Griekwas.
Well, that's a penalty just about every 4 minutes in a match. It's not an ideal situation.
So he's very upright, the open side flanker there. If you keep yourself low, you can scan and watch and see what's coming.
You can see that. One more.
You saw Werner Badenhorst just getting some attention there.
5-4.
So for the second time, he's had to come off the field. And question is, was his replacement permanent, or is he coming back onto the park?
It looks like he's coming back on.
5, they're 4.
Quick take from Noortman. This is Crawford.
Taking space.
Another penalty for the Griffons.
You're not tackled. You're not tacklers, so you have to get around.
If they had enough confidence in their line out, they'd kick this ball deep down towards the touchline, the corner flag rather. Rana Fenter's going to do just that. Oh dear, he's made a bit of a hash of that. And that's going to just roll into touch and goal.
Right.
So back we come. Really wasted opportunity that for the Griffons.
Zapped, you zapped.
Oh, big Werner Badenhorst coming back onto the field. You've got to think he's been off for the pitch side concussion assessment, which would allow him to come back onto the field. He might have taken a knock to the pip. And the doctors just assessed him to see that he's 100% okay.
Kijk voor mij daar. Je moet achteraf gaan.
It seems like there's a bit of indecision, yeah. Tiaan Safafir and the referee just getting a call from the side of the field. And that has to do with the replacements who are coming on and off. To make sure that they keep their count right. Interesting that Tiaan Roux has actually moved to fly half for Griekwas from the scrum half position. He looks the type of player who could play anywhere, to be honest with you. Got really good skills. Griekwas change of direction. Now can they keep this ball alive? Bearing in mind they've already got their bonus point with the 4 tries. The tackling of the Griffons in the second half has really been quite woeful on occasions. Roux, little swivel pass there from him. It's just all about defensive work at the moment. And here's a chance now. Oh, another obstruction. It's not often that you see as many obstructions in one match as we've seen today.
It was the try scorer, big Stefan Milan, who came on the run, got in the way.
Colin Herbert with the kick. Just using the wind at his back, so up towards the halfway line. It's really now or never for the Griffons. Zena Isaacs is downstairs with the players.
Richard Gum, tough game out there, but Grieg was looking good when you spread the ball wide.
Yeah, I think we just, the passes and stuff are letting us down at the moment, but it's a good game so far.
4 tries as well, that's pretty pleasing.
Yeah, it's very pleasing. That's what we set out to do today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Richard Gum, who's off the park. He didn't get enough possession, I might add. And it seems like it hasn't been a day for the wingers. Clay's been pretty close in. And again, it's a penalty, this time to griekwas.
Can't play the ball, 19.
A big Colin Herbert in the centres. I think he's done a good job. He banged it up, conceded the penalty, taken quickly by griekwas.
Well, pretty much all the possessions going the way of the griekwas at the moment.
Relax, boys. I'll come from green.
Yeah, and all the play, not only the possession, has happened in this griekwas under 21 half. 58% of the play has taken place there in the second half. Game's been well controlled by the griekwas.
Get up, please. Forward. Thank you. Touch.
The Griffons' backline has failed to really power their way downfield. Mainly that's had to do with some very poor passing at times. It just didn't seem to have the rhythm that they would have wanted.
Touch.
So it's made it difficult for Nootman and Rona Venter
Pause. Engage.
to really get strong attacking moves going and for the ball to be used wide on the field. Grickwas have turned this over. They've done well, yeah. Roux with a bit of a hospital pass. Oh dear, this could be interesting. Extremely dangerous tackle there on Tiaan Roux. Just have a look at this, Bros.
Yeah, there's absolutely no need for this. This is more frustration, I think, from these griekwas players. The leg gets picked up.
So a definite dangerous tackle. Yeah.
And that is very, very dangerous.
Okay, it was number 10. That's confirmed.
Okay. Yellow? Definitely.
Definitely.
Yellow?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 10.
10.
Yeah.
10. 10. 10.
This will be Rona Venter.
Right. You tackle, lifting, you can't, it's dangerous. Right, you have to go.
Because I reckon he's even lucky to get the yellow.
I think so too. Yeah, the circumstances are such that these things tend to happen very quickly. We have the benefit of viewing it again in slow motion. Extremely dangerous situation that Tiaan Roux is back on his feet. He's scrum half now playing fly half.
Good run.
Great energy there from Jonathan Africa. Oh, why didn't they go wide? They had the overlap and then they decided not to do that.
Number 8. Side.
So offsides here with the Griffons. Grickwas in another good situation, quickly taken there. And now they're in space. Here's the opportunity. Surely they've got to score. It's Tiaan Knutzer who's gone over and the referee has awarded it. Well, we've seen a lot of tries that have been referred upstairs. And again, it's amazing. Just as soon as you're playing with 14 men, you're under so much pressure.
Okay.
It was fantastic work by little Dylan Tidbury. Speed of the play of the ball, speeded up the hands, advancing, retreating defense from the Griffons, and unable to stop it. He draws the men in, sucks them, takes their eyes onto him, and releases the ball carrier for the Griquas, and it's high fives all round. Tiaan in for the try.
So up to 40 they are now, and one would imagine pretty secure in their victory. 5 tries that they've scored, and quite a big spread. Jonty Gray, it's been a good day for him with a boot, although he has had a number of kicks that he would always have expected to have got over. This is not such an easy one. Drotsky just pondering,
lounging,
about to come up this afternoon. What could happen? Another crucial match for them as well, the Cheetahs. Now, will Jonathan Gray swing this in from the right-hand side? No, it's not going to come in. But they won't be too unhappy about the situation, the point situation at the moment. That was Renaud Fenter in picture.
Now that's the yellow card, which could quite easily have been a red card. He picks the man up, flips him over, straight onto his head. A couple of the other men just held him up, and then he did the old sumo twist.
Good take from Steph Milan, one of the try scorers. Nice technique at the breakdown point, or holding onto the ball on that occasion. This is Colin Herbert deciding he's going to just charge at the opposition. They were not back 10 meters, so they have another chance. Of course, they've got no fly half at the moment. Young Crawford, Vim Crawford, since he's come on as a replacement, has been very active as well. Another chance for Herbert to try and lend some weight in the midfield. Now, if they can get it quickly, they've got all the men out wide on the right-hand side. Oh, that delayed possession. They've got the penalty, have the Griffons, but that's not ideal for them. They've lost a little bit of momentum now. Will it be tap and go again? On to Herbert.
He must have carried the ball 3-4 times in the last 3 minutes.
The important thing is to hold on to it as well. Have they still got it? Yep, they have. Everyone's trying to do their own thing.
Time off. Release. Time off. Off mij. Cappy. There's te veel penalties nou. Achter mekaar. Offside. Not rolling from the side. Okay. Zet gauw. Yeah. Right. Captain happy.
Divya Buddha said, can I play it? But the referee had already offered the opportunity for a chat with the Griquas players. They're just absolutely 1 meter from the line again. Good defensive work from Griquas. Now they're going to want to go short side. Dirk Grobelaar might be the man who gets it. This is Crawford. Grobelaar is a big rangy number 8.
Please. 18.
Oh, we're going to see another card now.
Okay.
It's desperate defense from the Griquas.
That's Chris Manches that's been dispatched. And Zena Isaacs is downstairs with Wynand Venter.
Feyenoord, the team creating opportunities, but unfortunately not rounding them off.
Yeah, we have a lot of chances, but we just need to use them better. As unfortunately, we have to keep practicing on our handling errors and lack of communication skills. We just have to up that up.
Penalties and mistakes as well costing the team.
Yeah, a lot too much, especially with you can see with the yellow card against us and all. Yeah, we have to up that as well. Thank you.
Well, Van and Venter sort of summed it up there. Hasn't been a day for the Griffons.
That's the crucial man for the Griffons. Scored their one and only try, their captain Mario Notman, and we just hope from a viewpoint of the rest of the season that he's not too seriously injured.
Yeah, he was down a little bit earlier as well, unfortunately. They're the two culprits with yellow cards.
They're not sitting side by side. He's got his back turned to him. And Arona Venter shaking his head. He's got the old 50% haircut where he's got to come back Monday to do the rest.
Not releasing.
So, a quick tap then. Grobelaar called into action. Can they finish this match with a little bit of a flourish? And Jonty Gray, it was who came rushing through there. 26 points the difference. So just a couple of seconds left as you see Pura Himan in the background there. And it'll be Griquas up against the Cheetahs. A derby clash, you could call it, from the men down the road, playing the men up the road.
Shoulders, ball's out, fine.
That ball was out, there was no problems there, and Dylan Tidbury putting a lot of pressure on the Griffons.
Step.
Just gets the feeling that the Griquas players, replacements that have come on, have provided the energy that's been needed. This is Herbert.
Some more. Use it once.
Herbert has run into face a lot today and hasn't really been able to make much headway.
Still going forward.
And I think the Griquas pack of forwards have really laid the foundation for this super victory for the local men. And there we have it, referee's final whistle then. And it is a victory for Griquas. 2 wins in a row for them against the Pumas last week and this week against the Griffons, and they were full value for their money in the final analysis with those 5 tries that they scored to the 2 against Griffons. So final scoreline, 40-14.